Next, we are putting on the nose. So you should have cut this out from a little scrap of felt. The instructions say you could like glue it on like with fabric glue or hot glue, but this is sewing class and we want to sew it to be secure. But I actually am going to use just a tiny bit of just an Elmer's glue stick. Just put a little dab on there. My goal here is that I want it to stay in place just enough while I edge stitch it on. So then I've placed it on, hopefully you can see my marks there. Again, I transferred from the pattern tissue and I'll place on the nose. Then I'll take it to the machine and sew it. It says we're using an edge stitch, so that means you're going to stitch close to the edge. You could change your thread color to match the felt if you want it to blend in more, or you can have contrasting. I'm gonna just use the black thread I already have in the machine, but you're welcome to change colors so that your stitching blends in to that little nose piece. Now I'm edge stitching the nose. So remember, an edge stitch means very close to the edge, so about 1/8 of an inch or less. So that Elmer's glue should be helping hold it in place a little bit. I'll also have to just make sure it doesn't move around. I'm gonna put the edge of my presser foot, so the inside edge, along the edge of that. Your sewing machine can also move the needle. So if you look by the screen, these buttons here, that's your needle position and it shows the dot there. So I might just move it 1 or 2 clicks to the right, closer to the edge, so that I can get right along the edge of that nose. As another tip, you also want to make sure your seam allowance underneath the nose is staying open how you pressed it. I just checked that and mine's good to go. When you kind of come to the edge, you can pivot just like you would on a corner. And it's a little bit rounded, so you might take a couple stitches and then pivot again just to get that good shape that you want. There's my nose all sewn on. I really took my time to do that because it was a small piece and kind of a small seam. And you can see what it looks like with the contrasting thread. Had I taken the time to change to a pink thread, it would have blended in a little bit more. I did backstitch just a tiny bit. You could also alternatively have pulled the threads to the back when you're done and tied it off to not have the back stitching visible. My shape got like a little wonky right there, so I might have done that a little differently were I to do it again. If you decide you don't like how your nose turned out, you could unpick it and try it again, but you'd probably need a new piece of felt, which is fine. But I just take your time, try to do it nicely. And again, if you're worried about seeing your stitching, choose a contrasting thread color or a matching thread color. And there's our face. It's coming together.